Well, Kim, I know we have a new release of the Veritas Resiliency Platform coming out, and one of the new things is the service objectives. Can you take us through a little bit of what those are?
Yes, I can do that, Bob.
Okay.
So the service objective is really something which come instead of the former, where what we call the protected and unprotected resiliency group. In pre-2.0, when we created a resiliency group, we had to use and assign like it was a protected or unprotected resiliency group, which means that the protected is where we can do failover, we can do migrate, rehearsal, things like that, where unprotected is really where we can stop and start a virtual machine, or we can start and stop an application. So that has been replaced now with the service objective. When you define a service objective, we have kind of two which is pre-activated in the product when you install it. So we have one called recovery host, and it's set up as a gold service objective. And when we have one set up as a bronze, which is monitoring asset. So monitoring asset is really the same as the former unprotected resiliency group. And the recovery host is really what's the protected resiliency group. If you want to have more than these two here, then we have some templates where you can define your own service objective. So we have one called remote recovery of applications, remote recovery of host. These two is the same as the protected, and that's where you can do migrate, rehearsal, takeover, rehearsal cleanup, things like that. Where the last one, monitoring assets, again, is the unprotected resiliency group, so it means that you can only start and stop an application. When you define these, go in and activate one of these, there's something you have to define inside. So when you put up a remote recovery of application, remote recovery of host, in there you also have to specify which site it has to, which DR site it has to fail over to. So that's one of the questions. Another thing in here is that we can define an RPO, recovery point objective, and there we can put in a time. I can put in a time like 10 minutes. And if a failover or a takeover or start or stop of an application takes more than these defined minutes in the RPO, we'll get an alert in the VRP. It will not make any difference on the start or stop of the application or the failover of the application. It just reports that it took longer time that we have defined in the RPO. So that's one of the things, and that could be used to maintain SLA or define SLA as well for customers. When you activate one of these applications here, after that, you will give it a name, and it will come up over here as an activated service objective. So in here, you can define it. So it could be a silver, it could be remote recovery of application, depending on the RPO down here. You can also call them tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So it's really just a name you put in there. Default in the product, we have these gold, silver, bronze, just so you have a starting point for the product. So that's really what defines the service objective in VRP 2.0.
Okay. So really, if I understand this right, when you activate one of these templates, then you can actually give it its own name over here. Is that right?
Exactly. So it fits into your service level agreement you have with a customer. Then you can put in a name which fits into that. It could be, as I say, it could be gold, silver, bronze, right, platinum, or it could be tier 1, tier 2, whatever fits
whatever
the customer.
You want.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Kim, thanks so much for taking us through the service objectives of VRP.
You're welcome.